Hey, I'm Randy Younger, New York City's go to film enthusiast. Every week, I dive deep into the world of cinema with special guests from the New York City film scene. Whether I'm interviewing industry insiders or comparing the latest releases, there's always something for every movie lover. Join me as I explore the magic of film and discover what makes these movies unforgettable. Hey guys, I'm Randy Younger in this special episode of Under the Radar. And with me tonight, I have two very special guests, two good friends to the show. Evan Ginsberg is right here. Evan.
Hey, everybody.
And Mr. Max Keller. Max, welcome back, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. This is amazing, as usual. But before we get into our reviews, I just wanted to mention that this past weekend was a very special event that happens every year at the Jacob Javits Convention Center. And of course, I'm talking about New York Comic Con, which is an amazing event. I was there working with my fellow New York City Ghostbusters, making the slime with the kids.
There you go.
Nice
Hey.
photo ops with everybody. And there were just so many cosplayers, great costumes this year. Every year is great. Thousands of people passing through these
Hmm.
halls. And it's just a very positive thing. Everyone's there for a good reason. They just love pop culture.
Hmm.
Uh, Evan, I know you've never been, but have you ever been tempted or maybe in the future?
I've been to so many conventions over the years as a wrestling agent, bringing legendary wrestlers to Chiller and tons of conventions. And I did do Comic-Con many years ago,
Okay.
and I love it. It's just sometimes it's sensory overload. You
Yeah.
have to be in the right frame of mind.
Oh my.
It's like you're blinded by everything going on around you.
Yes, so I've been going for over a decade now, and every time I go, I'm overwhelmed. So I completely sympathize with that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Max, have you ever been or plan to?
I have not been to Comic-Con. I've definitely been invited to like plenty of conventions, but they were like stuff that other friends were into, like voice acting for like cartoons and stuff, which is like, okay, that's kind of cool. I met some people who worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender. They were really nice. One of them, Randy, you notice I met Dante Bosco, who was
Oh,
yeah, who was famous as being
yeah,
one of the kids in Hook. I will see
right.
that eventually, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
and
But
he looks exactly the same as he did 35 years ago. He was a kid, but now he looks great. Dante looks
yeah, from what I've seen in images, it's like, oh, this is actually kind of interesting. I was
great.
actually debating going this year because I heard Simon Pegg was going to be there, and
Right.
I'm a big fan of his work. But honestly, I think I just got busy with a bunch of other stuff. But
Mhm.
I'd be happy to go at some point,
Yeah,
honestly.
maybe next year. That'd
Yeah,
be
yeah.
fun. We could do like a
Maybe
little show there or something.
that'd be awesome.
But I was very fortunate to get a photo op with Brendan Fraser, and it
Oh,
was very
that's
surreal.
great.
It was like a 10-second encounter.
Yeah.
I didn't really get to say much to the man, but he did say that I resembled Harold Ramis because I was
I
dressed.
could see that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
I was in full Ghostbusters gear, and he worked with him on Bedazzled, so he complimented my cosplay. Even though I'm not Egon, but I just look like Egon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a great event and just so much going on. 4 days out of every year, and I only went to two, and it's just very special. It's just really nice. So yeah, I recommend you guys go. I recommend you go back.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we have a few things to talk about here as well. I want to get into our first movie review, and this is a pretty solid film. It's called The Smashing Machine. It stars Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, as Mark Kerr, a mixed martial artist who's basically we see him fall on hard times. He's got a drug addiction with like steroid use. He's also
Opioids.
yeah, and he also has a rocky relationship with his girlfriend, played by Emily Blunt. And the film is released by A24, which is fantastic. That hooked me right away. But I think this is one of the first times that Johnson, The Rock, has played a character, a person in a dramatic way. I've never really seen him in a dramatic film before, and
He's done a
yeah.
lot of popcorn action films, and he's the world's number one action star.
right,
So this time he
That's actually
challenged,
true.
yeah, he challenged himself,
right.
and it's a tremendous performance. I sincerely think he's going to get an Oscar nomination. It reminded me very much of Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler. I was associate producer on The Wrestler, and
I don't know that.
it's a similar, he
Right.
lives this part,
Right.
and he goes in the blink of an eye from childlike to destructive, like
Yeah.
just destroying his house, breaking doors and breaking furniture. It's a great performance.
And I just want to mention this, that Evan Ginsberg here is our resident wrestling critic slash expert. He knows
Oh,
wrestling is his world, and this movie is a small piece of that world. And I was very interested to see The Rock in a dramatic role, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I think he did a fine job.
Absolutely. And I think when Oscar time comes around, he may actually win it because it's a
And the Oscar goes to
oh,
Dwayne
seriously.
Johnson. I mean,
I've honestly been debating like whether or not he'll get nominated, like as I was watching the movie, because I admit there are like moments where I did kind of find his acting similar to like some of the stuff he's been known for, which like made him so popular. But I will admit, like the best moments of his performance in my eyes is like when he goes like for the riskiest things, like the scene where he like breaks down crying from like his first loss. Like that to me was like a super powerful moment and actually got me so involved. As you guys have said, like times when he's destroying his house are like it's moments like that where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I was like impressed, honestly. Like I'm not the biggest fan of The Rock, and honestly, I kind of didn't come in with like I kind of I think when we all heard that The Rock was trying to do like a dramatic A24 film, like most of us were like, okay, if you can do it, fine.
Yeah.
But
well, I was very curious about it, and I think
yeah,
he
no.
apologized.
oh, he pulled it off.
Yeah.
Batista, who was also previously in WWE, Dave Batista, he's become a legitimately good actor. He
Yeah.
did The Last Showgirl with Pam
That's
Anderson.
right.
Well, how
And if
was he
any-
in that?
And if anybody ever said to me that I would be sitting in awe of Pam Anderson and Dave Batista, I would say you're insane. But
Right.
they were great in this movie, and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
Beautiful film.
And
I haven't seen it yet, but I do like Camelando's Dune movies a lot.
I loved The Rock's voice in this movie because he definitely emulates the real Mark Kerr, and you can definitely hear it. And he sounds like a very calm, composed guy, but there's a lot going on deep within. Like this guy has serious rage issues, serious psychological things going on.
Well, they call it steroid rage.
Yeah.
And they clearly showed he was abusing steroids and
Right.
opioids and had addiction issues. And the relationship was this was not Adrian and Rocky. This was very volatile. And
It was real. This actually happened.
And
Yeah.
one of the flaws with the movie was when they showed the fight sequences, it was from a fan's perspective. The fight sequences weren't great, like Rocky and Apollo Creed or Scorsese's Raging Bull. The fight sequences weren't as good as they could have been. And I think it was intentional. They wanted to show it
It was
from like a
definitely
fan
intentional.
sitting ringside.
Right.
But the real powerful scenes in that movie were the fight sequences with him and his girlfriend, who later became his wife in real life.
Oh, and I wanted to mention the fight sequences and the stuff that was filmed from a fan's perspective. That was shot, I believe, on VHS. So you get a real sense
Yeah, I
of
remember
time.
hearing about that.
This story takes place in, I believe, the mid 90s up until 2000.
Yeah.
And it really shows in the gritty video footage, which is fantastic. And A24 is known for that kind of visual, aesthetic, that old-timey like 80s, 90s feel. So I think that they did a good job with that.
And another thing is, back in the day, these guys did not make big money. Early in the film, he's arguing over a $3,000 discrepancy in a paycheck. They were not getting huge money like some of the athletes today.
Right.
And not that long ago, he's had some health problems in real life. He was doing a GoFundMe.
Okay.
So, he did not end well.
Right.
And I would have rather seen the storyline with the girlfriend slash future wife
Right.
as opposed to yet another fight sequence. I think it would have made for a better movie because, at the end, you just get a couple of, lines across the screen. Oh, they got married. Oh, they broke
Yeah.
up. Oh, they had a
Biopic
kid.
stuff.
That's
I would have been more
that
interested
would
in
have been
seeing
very
that.
cool to see. I would have loved to
Yeah.
have seen that too.
I was actually gonna ask what you guys thought of Emily Blunt because I honestly love her performance a little too much in this movie.
It was great.
I wanted more of her. She's obviously a beautiful, talented actress, and she added a lot of depth to the story, I think. And of course, a good foil for Mark Kerr. And I definitely want to see more of that relationship. She did a great job.
Yeah.
She's very reliable. Like she was fantastic in A Quiet Place.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, right, yeah.
she's just a
I
very
like her on Sicario. That's a good
Right.
performance from her.
And of course, Devil Wears Prada. And she actually, believe she worked with The Rock in Jungle Cruise, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
didn't see it. That's one of the pop
I
culture
do.
I intentionally missed.
Right.
Yeah.
But Evan, you mentioned Mickey Rourke and how the wrestler kind of changed his career a little bit. I have a feeling that this movie's going to change The Rock's career.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Because he's in his 50s now, and he actually trimmed down in real life. He's not as bulky
Right.
like Batista. Batista looks like a regular guy now walking down
Yeah.
the street. He lost a lot of weight and bulk and muscle. And the
Hmm.
reason being, he wants to be perceived as an actor, not an action star.
Right.
And I think it's a good move because I don't need to see Liam Neeson in his 70s in another action movie.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to be an actor.
Be in a-
Be an
Be in a
actor.
wheelchair with a
Yeah.
gun. It's not going to look good. But Evan, I'm curious.
Taking 47, someone's taking my Alzheimer's medication.
That's
Yeah.
right. And I'm gonna kill him.
Right. I find it interesting that some wrestlers that become actors, they kind of gravitate towards dramatic stuff. I wonder why that is. Evan, since you're a wrestling expert, why do you think that is?
Well, wrestling, when you're in the ring, you're telling a story. This is the good guy, this is the bad guy. They have a feud. This is the outcome of the feud. They are telling a story like an actor would. And really in wrestling, you're working with the guy. He's not your opponent.
Right,
He's
right.
your partner. And you're trying to put over whatever the storyline is. And you actually have, bookers, writers that are telling a long form story that sometimes could go on for months or years. So
Right.
they're acting.
That's
And,
Hmm.
every time they're hitting you, you're acting because
Yeah.
they're not punching you in the face.
It's all a performance. It's all very theatrical.
But it's also very physical.
Right.
When they do
Right.
I
it.
will say that Dwayne Johnson did pick a great choice with a director to work with, honestly. Since, as you guys said, he wanted to do more dramatic material, and honestly, considering Benny Safdie's working with other actors who have been perceived to be kind of bad,
Adam
I
Sandler
remember,
and Uncut Gems.
Perfect.
Yeah.
yeah, I was about to say Uncut Gems. We got Sandler coming back and surprising a lot of people. I honestly changed my tune on Robert Pattinson when I saw Good Time back in 2017.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
another thing, to go back to Uncut Gems, it's I remember we have the performance of Kevin Garnett, a famous basketball player, playing himself, honestly. And
Right.
you usually think of athletes okay, they're kind of phoning it in and stuff. They're just using the charm that they use on the field or whatever. I wish I was more of a sports person secretly. But it's you see how genuine Garnett plays it in Uncut Gems and stuff like that, with the arguing and how he gets accustomed to the style. And one of the things I did really like about this film, when you said you didn't like how the fights were were shot from a fan's perspective, and I feel like Benny Safdie does that a lot because it's you'll notice there are moments in Good Time and Uncut Gems where it kind of gains a documentary feel.
Oh, yeah.
With the camera work and editing, and that to me was honestly the strongest point. He really showed a flaw I have is that I wish this film was a little more challenging, but he took what was relatively straightforward for a film that he would make and more showed he cared about the subject matter, showed he cared about what he wanted from the performances and the scenes and everything. And honestly, I was just really enjoying like his filmmaking.
Now, Benny Safdie, you did mention two of his previous films. I don't know what it is about it, his directing style. He basically transforms his actors because you've got Adam Sandler, who's a comedian. Now he's a dramatic actor. You've got The Rock. You know, it's really interesting the transformations that he puts into play, and I think he's one of the best working directors right now. And very, very interesting choices, I'd say.
Irony is
it's a
like
very
the
good film, but
Yeah.
it does not touch Uncut Gems. That's how I'd sum
no,
it.
I much prefer the other two films I mentioned, and
yeah.
the irony with what you said, Brandy, was that this is his first effort solo. Like he did those two films with his brother Josh Safdie.
That's right. That's right. So
Yeah.
I think it's in his favor because this is a solid film. I love it.
Yes.
All right, guys. We have to go into our next review, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
Fine with me. I said my piece.
And now this one, I was very excited. When I heard about it, I was immediately interested. It's John Candy, I Like Me, the new documentary about the famed comedic actor's life, his short life, unfortunately, passed away at 43 back in 1994. But from the early 70s up until his death, he delighted fans with his comedy, his warmth. Apparently, there's no bad things you can say about him in this film.
Well, that's one of the flaws of the film.
Well,
It becomes a little hero worship. But if you love John Candy, and I
Yeah.
certainly did,
yeah.
I'm older than you guys. When Second City TV was on, it was so ahead of its time. It was edgy. It was brilliant. And Candy blew up after that. He became a huge film star.
Right.
And but it's funny, at the very beginning of the documentary, Bill Murray says, I can't think of anything bad to say about this guy. So they kind of knew the inherent flaw in the film,
Okay.
because it's not going to be a balanced. And
Yeah.
also his kids were among the producers. So,
Right.
they weren't gonna do a hatchet job on that.
Also, Ryan Reynolds started a producer as well. Colin Hanks, Tom Hanks' son, who's an actor
Right.
and a filmmaker, he directed the film. So you've got a lot of heavy hitters here.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm a Candy fan, and it was beautiful to hear all the glowing praise of him as a father, as a husband. It's just, I'll give you a quick example. At one point, they cite that he held grudges, and they didn't say why, they didn't say who, they didn't go into any detail. That's not what makes a great documentary. You have to show both sides.
Right.
I mean, I've made documentaries, 350 Days about the wrestling world.
Right.
So you have to tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. And
Yeah.
he was a nice guy, and he was a great talent, and he was a great family man.
Right.
But
He wasn't perfect.
yeah, you
And,
have
yeah,
to tell all sides.
He was a drinker. He
Smoker.
smoked. He ate to
Okay.
excess. So these were some flaws. I'm sure there's other stuff.
But they said it was
Yeah.
because his father died when he was 5, and he was
Right.
terribly traumatized.
Yeah.
And at one point, he ballooned to 341 pounds, and the doctors were telling him, you have to take care of yourself,
Right.
and he would get rid of the
He
doctors.
wouldn't listen. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's what
so
happens.
dangerous.
But overall, a wonderful portrait of this.
Oh yeah. It's a great tribute. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
it's a great documentary, but it's a great tribute.
Right. Max, what were your thoughts on the film?
Okay, I should mention I am not a documentary person, so this was kind of hampering that. I'm not as familiar with John Candy as you guys. I've seen a few of like the films he worked on. Like, I think the biggest one I've seen was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess it's the
Automobiles.
Uncle Buck.
No, it's a great film.
Oh yeah, no, I rewatched it recently. He's great in the film. Honestly, I think I was kind of hoping this film would be. I don't want to say it's standard, but that's like one of the things I was kind of feeling was like, oh, we're going to talk about how good of a guy he is. We're going to go through his life story, look at, and like some celebrities like talking about him. It's like, okay, well, I kind of wanted a little bit more, honestly.
That's
Like,
fair.
it works as a great tribute. It works as a good tribute. It's just like, as you said, it's not really something that's I don't know what it is. I'm actually torn on this film, to be honest. And
You're
a lot.
torn on it. Okay.
Yeah, no, I was like just thinking like throughout, like, okay, is it gonna say anything else besides John Candy was a great person? Because like as I was kind of like the things that were interesting me were like the celebrity interviews and stuff like that, where I was like, okay, we're getting more of a sense of who he is. Like the Macaulay Culkin interview was like my favorite, where he's like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even though he seemed a little under the influence, I think.
Oh, I don't know,
Or
but
some.
I don't know.
He seemed just maybe a little too hyper for me, but
he was
another episode.
he was screwed up as a kid. Okay, his brother's
Yeah.
getting all the attention. I don't blame him for taking a
Right.
little drinks.
Yeah, but yeah, he definitely made his mark on definitely 80s cinema, Candy did. And
Yeah, no,
I personally grew up with him. I know you were around when he was at the height of his powers.
I met him and I approached him for an autograph. And just like they said in the movie, he was gracious, he was warm, he was friendly, he was accommodating. And, you know, for the brief moment, it was a great memory. Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, honestly, he's one of the many actors of that era that I consider that basically helped raise me. You've got all the 80s icons. He was definitely among
right.
the top of those people. And
And if you're too young for SCTV, pick up a box set or whatnot. It's brilliant comedy, brilliant improv, great.
I might look up clips,
it
honestly.
was basically SNL, but maybe a little more out there, I want to say.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was edgy, no budget.
Yeah.
It was great. Out of Canada.
Yeah,
I mean, when they showed the Yellow Belly clip, like I thought that was like really funny, honestly. When they like were pulling examples of like his bits, like the scene in Uncle Buck where they're like where him and Macaulay Culkin are having that really fast conversation and stuff.
Right, the interrogation. Yeah.
Yeah, and like clips of like his jokes and Stripes and stuff. And I was like, okay, this is like you're showing his strengths, honestly. Like, I was into that, honestly. Like I think it's just I feel like I would have gotten more of an effect from this if I was just simply like someone who was more, I guess, like if I knew almost all there was to know about John Candy. Like I wish I explored more of his work, honestly. Then this probably could have been a little bit more. Like I do really like him. Like I mean, Spaceballs was a mainstay as a kid. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles we talked about. He's great in that. And he's definitely done like a lot of great comedic works, honestly. And from what the documentary said, he seems like a sweetheart, honestly. I just kind of wish this film did a little bit more besides just being like, oh, hey, he was great. Goodbye.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Yeah, I agree with you, Evan, that they could have shown both sides, instead of just sticking to the hero worship angle.
Yeah.
I do want to also mention kind of a side note, Chris Candy, John Candy's son in the film, I believe he is going to be Barf in Spaceballs 2. I think,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, and I think that would be very appropriate. It's very nice. And yeah, can't wait to see that. Mel Brooks is over. He's like 100 years old now.
He's 99 going on 100.
99 going. Wow.
Let's hope he makes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need him to
Eddie
make
White
it,
died
honestly.
right
I
before
don't I
100th birthday.
So
we lost too many great celebrities this year. I don't want to lose a childhood favorite,
I
okay?
know.
Yeah,
Let's just
Diane Keaton, R.I.P. D'Angelo for you R&B
Yeah.
fans. He
And-
was great.
and also
Ozzy Osbourne and David Lynch just broke my heart, honestly.
oh, yeah. And also a little over a month ago we lost Robert Redford.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
here under the radar, we will be doing a tribute episode to Mr. Redford, and that'll be coming up in
He was a great champion of indie cinema.
yeah. So all these fantastic actors and performers have just left us.
Well, this was a tough year for
Yeah.
us. So, like another celebrity Holocaust year. Oh my God.
And it's not even over yet.
That's one way to say it.
Yeah.
So, but we wish them. They've left us with great legacy.
Brian Wilson and Sly Stone the same week. Two musical geniuses.
I know.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year for that, but we must keep going.
Oh yeah.
And I actually wanted to mention a Western that I actually had the privilege of watching the other night.
Nice.
This film is called Killing Faith, and it was actually a pretty good Western because I haven't seen a good Western in quite some time. I can't even remember the last good Western I saw. But this one stars Guy Pearce, DeWanda Wise. It also has Joanna Cassidy and Bill Pullman. Also, a very young actress, a young little girl, Emily Ford. And I'll tell you, the acting in this film is that it was the best part of the film. And it's not your standard Western. It actually has, yeah,
Supernatural slant.
it's got a supernatural, slant to it, and it's a weird one, and I don't really want to give much away. But if it's basically an adventure that Guy Pearce plays a down on his luck doctor who basically links up with a freed slave, a woman who has a daughter, and they go on this big adventure in the frontier land, and they're met with some sinister people, some people who are not who they seem, and it's actually very well made. And Guy Pearce is the lead here. He does an excellent job anchoring the film. And if you guys get a chance to see it,
I love westerns. I'm going to check it out.
yeah, it's
Check it out.
Killing Faith, and I highly recommend it. It's very good. All right, guys. So I think we have just a couple of minutes left. I want to just go around and see if there's any plugs or any films you've seen lately.
I want to quickly recommend Brownsville Bread. It's a beautiful indie film shot on a very low budget from the heart. Elaine Del Valle is the director, and it was based on director, producer, the whole deal. And she had a biography, and it was a theatrical play first. So this is a 20-year journey for this to get to the screen. And I sat there at a screening. My friend Edwin Vasquez does the music and has a cameo in it. And I looked around in the audience and everybody was crying.
Wow.
Beautiful film.
Wow.
It's a true story. She's from Brownsville, Brooklyn, and the father was a drug addict and a musician. And
Right.
the music's beautiful. Edwin Vasquez does it. And
Right.
it's in Puerto Rico right now as Brooklyn Boricua with a different title. But we would see it in the States as Brownsville Bread.
I like the
Look for it.
I like the Brownville Boricua better, actually.
Brooklyn Boricua in
Brooklyn-
Puerto Rico
Oh, okay.
and Brownsville Bread in the States.
I like the Boricua title better,
Okay.
actually,
Okay.
personally.
But I'll tell you, I sat there through the Q&A and I was inspired because as an indie filmmaker myself, I know what goes. It took 7 years to do A Wrestler. It took 6 years to do the documentary 350 Days.
Wow.
I've worked on other films, and it's a long, drawn out process, and especially if you're trying to get the funding. And so this is a Latina director, producer, editor who, and it's not an easy ride, and she pulled it off. And I'm telling you, the audience was just moved. And I'm from Brooklyn, so I can relate to it. I'm from East Flatbush, Brooklyn, tough neighborhood. So some of the things she showed in there, she showed the good, like I said before, the good, the bad, and the ugly of growing up in a tough neighborhood.
Where was this screened?
I saw it on 42nd Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, in Manhattan.
Well, I definitely want to see it now because
Yeah,
you're singing. It's
It's
great.
no longer in Manhattan. It's playing in one theater in Brooklyn, and eventually it'll be streamed and on DVD and Blu-ray and everything. Yeah.
Nice.
Right.
Max, how about you? Any plugs or any films you've seen lately? You want to
I mean, I do have my letterbox, which is Max Keller, capital M, capital K. I've been at the New York Film Festival for the past 2 weeks and have seen way too many great movies. And Ed, as you were like talking about the indie film, I was really interested in it, don't get me wrong, but I was kind of thinking like, oh, what do I want to talk about? Because there's so many, honestly. Like, I guess the one I'll talk about is the one that might be in like a few small theaters, which is It Was Just an Accident. This is honestly, I was just so into this film. Like, the director Jafar Panahi is someone who actually was banned from making films in his home country of Iran or Iran.
I've seen his films. Brilliant filmmaker.
Yeah, no, this is my first film from him, and he does an amazing job. And this was actually made in secret, and according to the producers at like the intro, they even said the cops even showed up to one of the days of shooting to like take the camera away because they thought that's where the footage was. And this is it's a film where the first minute or like 5 minutes, I forget how long that shot is. It's like it's so different from the rest of the film that it like completely is subversive and so different from the rest that you're like that I was just like on my the edge of my seat just wondering like how is this going to come, what's to become of this, and it goes in a completely opposite direction and it keeps doing that, and like the way the characters are interacting with each other is just like so insane, honestly, with just like how they're affected by what happens before the film. There's like lots of long takes even though they don't like really draw attention to themselves, and the film has a minimalist approach, yet it's always captivating in my eyes. Honestly, I love this film. Give it some recognition.
The title one more time.
It was just an accident.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Because I definitely want to do a New York Film